So either you've just started your wedding business, or perhaps you are a veteran and now that things are ramping up for 2021, you want to overhaul your contract or start from scratch. So you go online and see that there are a plethora of contract templates available for you. But are contract templates right for you? Are they worth the money? In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 factors that will determine whether or not a contract template is a good value for you. Stick around. Hey out there, welcome back to Wedding Industry Law. My name is Rob. I am a wedding industry lawyer, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether a contract template is good for you. What are the considerations that you need to take into consideration when you are deciding whether or not to put your hard-earned money down on a contract template versus actually paying an attorney to sit down with you and work through your specific issues for a client contract. So when I say a contract template, I'm talking about a template that is one size fits all that you get online, either LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, whatever the case is. There are wedding specific contract template companies or attorneys that sell them. So they're all over the place. But how do you know whether or not that's going to cover your butt? That's what today's video is all about. But before we get into that, folks, I just want to make another announcement. Every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, I'm on Clubhouse for the Wedding Industry Law Hour. That's where I will be answering your questions about operating a wedding business in today's climate. Any question you have that is law related about running a wedding business, whether it's about trademarks, contracts, COVID, whatever the case may be, come on down at Wedding Lawyer every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you there. So the first consideration when you're deciding whether or not a contract template is worth the money is to understand whether or not the way that you compute your fees is complex or not. Typically, a one-size-fits-all template contemplates basic price and payment structures. So you think about it, on one end of the spectrum, you have a DJ that only DJs and MCs. It's $1,000, half now, half later, super simple. On the other end of the spectrum, you have an event designer whose price is dictated by the final budget, which can go up or down and is unknown at the time of signing. So you can see that a template is more likely going to cover the other side of the spectrum with the DJ versus a more, I would say, highly specialized pricing and payment methodology. So to the extent that your price payment can be adjusted and there is potentially a minimum threshold that you want to maintain, no maximum, and it's you don't know at the start what that's going to be, then it's likely that you're going to want to have something drafted custom for you, because unless it's a really awesome template, it's probably not going to cover your pricing basics. So if you look at this and you go, well, I'm more like that specialized event designer than I am the DJ, then that is a factor in whether or not you even want to throw down the money for the template. So the second factor to take into consideration before you pay for a contract template is to understand that contract templates, again, in terms of the language for non-refundable payments or deposits, are typically very basic. So if you are taking more than one non-refundable payment, it's likely that the template is not going to cover you. So in other words, if you're taking 2 or 3 or 4 payments, and as you get that payment, you want it to be non-refundable, a template might not be doing that work for you. And the reason why is because there are jurisdictionally specific language. There is jurisdictionally specific language required in order to keep money if the client cancels the event. We call it liquidated damages. And in my experience, templates fall very short with liquidated damage language. And that's because the idea of continually taking money throughout the duration of the contract that doesn't go back requires specific elements, which require specific language in order to be enforceable and not a punishment and not something that is outside of the bounds of the law of the jurisdiction that you're in. So if you're taking more than one payment that's non-refundable, then a template might not be right for you. You need something specifically written for you by an attorney in your jurisdiction. The number three, so that'd be six. The number three consideration when determining whether or not you want to purchase a contract template versus actually having to pop down the money to have an attorney do something for you is to know whether or not you want to be able to bounce out of that contract easily. So by way of example, if you want to be able to say sayonara if the client is rude to you, if you want to be able to say, this email is, I consider abusive, so therefore I'm leaving. Or if you want to bounce because the payment is late. In other words, if time or payment is of the essence for you, then these are, I don't want to say quirks, but there is particularly necessary language that is required for what we would call material breaches, meaning breaches that would allow one to be discharged from their obligations in the contract. Most templates do not venture into that territory because it's dangerous territory. Some of it is jurisdictional, but some of it is just the fact that templates don't do heavy lifting. And being able to allow the vendor to easily get out of their obligations of the contract because of a material breach by the client requires pretty specific language and very critical language. There are some things that there are some elements that you have to actually put in the contract for it to be enforceable, for the judge to look at it and say, yes, you did right, or no, you did wrong. So in that instance, if you want to be able to get out of the contract super easy for material breaches, a template probably will not do that work for you. And finally, the fourth consideration in determining whether you should purchase a contract template or have something done for you personally is, do you offer multiple services? So are you a DJ that also offers a photo booth? Are you a planner that does floral arrangements? Are you a calligrapher that also does day of coordination? Okay. So in other words, are you kind of cross-referencing, so to speak, for lack of a better word, I guess, different industries within the event industry? Then it's likely, unless you're buying multiple templates and then just figuring out what goes where, a template's not going to do the work for you. A template is typically one size fits all. So if you get a DJ template, that's not going to cover you for calligraphy and vice versa. So it's important, unless you want to have multiple contracts the client is signing, you're going to need something specifically designed for the services that you offer if you're offering multiple services. So at the end of the day, if your computation for your price is complex, if your payment structure is complex, meaning you want more than one non-refundable payment coming to you, if you are offering multiple services, or if you are wanting to leave the contract very easily for specific stated reasons, then the template is likely not your best option. Your best option is to do what you can to pay an attorney to get that language specific for your business. Now, I hope that you found this video enlightening, educational. If you are enjoying the content of these videos, if you're enjoying the content of these podcasts, depending on how you are consuming them, then please, by all means, like and subscribe wherever that is occurring. If you have any suggestions, please DM me, Instagram, Clubhouse, wherever the kids are these days. Again, new videos every Monday, and then every Thursday for approximately an hour, I answer legal questions from wedding vendors on Clubhouse. I'm at Wedding Lawyer. That's how you're going to find me on Clubhouse. And with that, folks, we'll see you next time.